certain things get confirmed just based off this picture. That's right. Coming up out of the village like we are gorillas, you know I'm a big man. Plucking the fruit off the tree like wasn't no apple, it might be a big pear. Life will be flowing like water, now it's getting toxic, that's why it won't get clear. Turning right into a desert when you are deserted, now rain does a drip here. DoelowDaPilotman, look on the top of the mountain, you might see a swift deer. You should already know misery, yellow with company, we don't live here. Yeah, look at the Statue of Liberty, might be the image of that bitch. Gotta get back to divinity, I might have did me a backflip. I'm in a lack or affinity, now I be dipping on that track. See if she actually feeling me, not trying to give me a catfish. I'ma spit out the bones, goddamn girl, how you get tricked out your soul? You tried to call up on God, but you took out the downtown. Yeah, you gotta bring your own cup to the water, no styrofoam. Yeah, you was just eating some bullshit, that's why most your vows go. Ain't thinking about bad, but I am the one you can count on. Damn, copy you like it was 5 times. Had around that pussy and I was doing it all day. Oh, you know that I lost mine. Yeah, alright now. Hoping you checking your card line. Ain't playing around with this word, I'll be saving us after we all find. I wanna grab you like you all mine. Baby, look, we are the world, we all got children, yeah. All of these diamonds and pearls, it's how I'm feeling, yeah. Listen, baby, you and my girl, we in a building, yeah. Creating entire new worlds, we gonna build it, yeah. Painting it right on the mural after we build it, yeah. I know you be getting salty, and now you gotta go and flush it out. No emergency, but you should be rushing out. Shooting like you pewter name for rushing out. Wouldn't it be fine? Please get the ducking down. Why you always wanna get me to run around? You always lying and trying to get away with it, but it always be coming out, yeah. Baby, you know I was coming, I'm sweeping you out your feet. Baby, you know when you met me, you know I was out so deep. Maldito yo, you already know that you got with me. Yeah, holy that be the name. Baby, you know that you got me, I hope this is not no dream. I wanna go back to a village to live in and not these streets. You got me on a lot of things, but one of them not no leash. Yeah, hope that you see the same. Got me like it was 5 times. Had around that pussy and now it's doing it all day. Oh, we know that I lost time. Yeah, alright now. Hoping you checking your card line. Ain't playing around with this word, I'll be saving us until we all find. I wanna grab you like you all mine. Baby, look, we are the world, we all got children, yeah. Do some rituals on that I'll be in a space where I don't need shit, yeah. Ask a bitch now who you wanna be with, yeah. Oh, trust me, you ain't never gonna be shit, yeah. Like it was 5 times. You checking your card line. I wanna grab you like you are mine. Baby, look, we are the world.
Motherfucking world. And we the goddamn world. You better believe it. I'm gonna tell you like that. We gonna get prepared for the goddamn full moon. That's really what this about and stuff like that. You know how my page be getting flunked with and stuff like that. So shit, people don't give a fuck about human people or give a fuck about people. Well, I don't give a fuck either. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean I'm gonna stop doing what I do. Thank you so much for the cash app, solid. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, reals. That don't mean I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing. I got the truth. I'm with the great spirit and stuff like that. Can't a human down here on earth sit down and tell me anything about no morality or concept. And if you using English terms with any spookism behind it, you going to hell. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And you ain't got to prove to me shit. Fuck you proving to me something for. Get the fuck out my face. The end. Ain't no further than that. Or get the spiritual ass kicking. You want to take ears to see, eyes to hear. You must want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? You must want to hear how the real Jews is damn Native Americans that was civilized. You must want to hear it. You ain't got no business being on this damn channel. So we got to get man energy back in reality. How to be a man. Anybody acting out in any form of symbolism, you ain't a man. Man is direct. No wonder people can't get erect. Small dick. Men is direct. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Anytime with shit, you must be needing to talk to a bitch. And we have to ring around something or rearrange or something, or you might be self-projecting, being a bitch. If you a man speaking in symbols, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I create the symbol. I'm not one. I create the statistic. I'm not one. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to the holy law, holy order, and stuff like that, this is a symbol itself, bitch. I created this. It better not go no further than that in my mind. And if there's any other retarded human on earth, no matter who you are, smack somebody neighbors next door, or smack monkey animal in the woods, smack monkey beaver somewhere in the goddamn field somewhere in Alaska or whatever the case may be, God damn it, we all up under Yahlahuê. So fuck Allah and all this kind of concepts and shit like that, because what's the law to make sure that pocket of the land remember to put grass there? Where's those laws at? If I don't see those laws in anything we do with our nature and shit like that, you go to hell. You already there right now. You know what I'm saying? We got to see actual law. There ain't no law, no God, nature, no law, actually law. And the cloud move a certain way. Trees, the wind blow a certain way. Grass blades of salt, sand, grass blades move a certain way. You ain't moving that way. You ain't part of God. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you talking about. If you ain't moving with nature, you want to hell. The end, bitch. Get on, bitch. How about that? Now that we got our mind right and shit like that. So this is for everybody. Everybody's doggy, snake. You know what I'm saying? Everybody pet, grass pet, gerbil. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Water balloon, iguana face. However the case may be, that's what everybody need to know. And bitch, you can believe or don't believe. You ain't got to believe you dream. You ain't got to believe you can lift your left elbow. You know what I'm saying? So these things you can know. So this is going to be for a lot of other ethnicities and things of that nature too. So you can know how your language got stolen. You can know how things got took. You can know who trying to plagiarize to become native on your land, bitch. Oh, I'm saying real shit on the whole reverse psychology. And write down a little piece of paper energy. This is as far as it go. Don't put no spookism on it. Unless we about to decipher some shit and we just gonna go down and lead to people trying to make money and harm people and stuff like. Other than that, go to hell. Well, we're gonna talk about some real shit. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when we talk about learning pig egg languages and stuff like that, it always been some type of update concept of pig egg language and people coming over here and people trying to be relatable. So when you get to like the civilized tribes and stuff like that, it goes beyond with the 5 civilized tribes. It is all the Native Americans who were trying to get down with the get down. And the hardest ones with the hardest common sense was most of the time what you're going to get in these religion books and stuff like that, or these esoteric books. They ain't doing nothing but teaching what I do. I'm going to tell you that right now. It ain't not one esoteric book, one handshake, witchcraft sign, or symbol that I ain't able to goddamn hunt. On this, I ain't found one yet. That's how I know everything. Because somebody using my shit. The moment somebody not using my shit, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm saying, somebody using my shit. Bing, bing, bing. I know you ain't using my shit for fear. Boom, boom, boom. I know you ain't using my shit for money. Well, I know you ain't shit. Go down. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Real shit. Y'all are lost in the physical for some reason. Shit, and you came here in somebody's mind. I got to stop thinking certain ways now. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, that's all that's as far as it go in my brain. If y'all lost in the physical, I say, shit, I'm about retarded. You wouldn't even be in the physical without the shit I'm talking about. So you better start building healthy organs in my state. So I don't know what the fuck y'all retarded asses. But I'm just letting y'all know, goddamn it, peak game, or you wouldn't even be here. Bitch, you came in thought. You came out somebody's ass. You came out somebody's dick. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever forget that and shit like that. You find me another way how you got here. That ain't got something to do with some synthetic god that it can't be born, or some smack synthetic creature that was here, or some fucking robot. If you could point to you having a sentient brain you got of something that wasn't born out somebody else's ass, I'll be sitting here waiting. Other than that, you go to hell. Anything else you get ready to say, I don't give a fuck about your gaffle. I don't give a fuck about your gaffle. All that shit. Everybody get canker sores. Every la bump here, la bump there, la 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 la. Oh, for you get to do anything. For you take a shit, piss, put food in your mouth, get horny to fuck, go out in the world, think you got a thought process or whatever the case may be. You in hell already. You better believe that. You better believe that part. Y'all, Sarah, shit. You'd have had a thought you got. And that go for anybody. Everybody retarded. Now, when we get into these false beliefs anyway, now look, when we get into the old circumstances, you need to know that there's a pig gig language being developed for them to understand us, but wanting to understand our spirituality so we can mix it. So for the most part, what became, you need to understand this. There was a time that if you was a Native American and you didn't accept their government law and order, which became today the plagiarizing and Christianity, and Catholicism, then you weren't allowed to be a citizen on your own land. So y'all have to understand how deep this go when they did it to my people. Not just you being a foreigner and understanding it from your aspect, but then having a mind state that you come over here and argue for property and things of that nature too. Where they created a game, only a monopoly game, only they could be above in, and they're practicing some spiritual shit they know they ain't got no business practicing, which is why we created the occult. Ways to get out of something. You don't know what you're doing. You just jumping into something, getting sacrificed and shit like that. And then it don't even work that way. You know what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't be seeing so many of them spiritually evaporating. So that don't work. Whatever they doing is wrong. So at some point we have to look at that too. So, but it's a bunch of concepts that y'all not understanding due to the fact of you not probably having the tongue or the blood or the literary history, and then not knowing that there was a time people who were civilized was up under a white flag. And a white flag just means you're a civilized native tribe and you came together trying to civilize all the other tribes. So it ain't based upon the tribe and the weak spirit warrior confederation name of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just about all the tribes that was coming together and the ones that was trying to be civilized, when we see today that individuals wasn't trying to be civilized. They still trying to do some reverse psychology type thing. But at the same time, when we get to actually people being native and having to be respected for that, all that quality y'all even hear about Jew and white people replacing it, right? That's another concept, how they always trying to replace somebody's history so they could be native of that land. They did it to Africa. They did it. And then this is what y'all need to understand too. When it comes to Africa, India, or whatever, y'all was colonized after America. So the whole concept of colonization is Britain coming over here, learning Native American ways, all the way down to the slavery concept and utilizing it on y'all. Other than that, it was just jobs. So if you're an African and you feel like you got sold out by a Negro tribe or an Arab tribe, right? Because they was already in business. They never was trying to build up a culture in Africa. That's what you need to understand. It always was some Britain kind of relationship. Then y'all accepted it as a job along with Asians to come over here with the real government to help us replace ours. Now you can say this is wrong, right? But how the fuck we get here today? All foreigners running Native American land. Okay, that's the starting point. White boy coming over. First using manipulation after Marion got burnt out and we ain't want y'all marrying in no more. Then using manipulation and law tactics and things of that nature. And then it start getting into fighting because you was getting your ass beat. So you start bringing Buffalo Soldiers and Asians and stuff like that to help you. So that made it more in numbers. That's what made it more in numbers. See what I'm saying? And Britain Cotton funded England and Pilgrim to be able to do it. So as you being a foreigner or having a foreigner lineage, you think you're promised what the white boy promised you when they took you from the countries, right? 72 women, some property, your own land, whatever, all off the death and the blood and the bones being buried here on these lands of Native Americans. So this is the concept of sacrifice, somebody being sacrificed, a Native American being hung on the cross saying, let them do it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, I'll be back. And then for the most part, put it in a situation that everybody who don't know what they doing, when a person say I'm back, showing you what you doing, even when you ain't know no better. But you probably signed that contract. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't know you was getting sacrificed. And now you'll be able to go in the Bible and look at certain scriptures and things of that nature to be able to describe exactly what you in that you're trying to cope with and justify and think that you're not doing. Right? And you know who you got put in that situation by, your damn handlers. So it placed you into a situation where now you're starting to understand what you're in and what I'm saying, and you probably just worship dead Native Americans in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But so that's why all the technology, everything that's created is named after Native Americans. Every car, every technology, every satellite, every at least on these lands. So you have to keep that. You have to understand what was done. We had a covenant. They came and created a synthetic version of it. put these people in covenants, kill them, take their culture, meaning, and the resources, and duplicate it. And this is what they're calling milking or generative principle, being able to generate something, right? So they're generating off the engine, off the indigen, the people who create the most creative concepts mentally and action-wise as culture and agriculture, and then create a synthetic version that they can only get rich off of and play God of when they bring foreigners over here and put them up under that synthetic version. So you believe in Jesus Christ, but you got a job. So you ain't no walking Jesus Christ, you don't follow on Jesus Christ, and you up under a Jesuit plan what a Native American actually was running around here with a robe. So you have to understand that too. Other than that, you can't go to your land, your language, without it being British man. So that lets you know your history and what happened to you didn't necessarily happen to you. You're getting lost into the history and the words. You need to get lost into the practice. The practice will show you there's a practice being done. And whatever they telling you happening in Palestine, the practice is only being done in America. The end. Whatever they telling you in the Bible or whatever happened in Israel, the practice is only done in America. So once you start to see these names, like, oh, these is missionary Jesuits names, Benjamin and goddamn it, Jacob and Israel, all these, not Israel, but a bunch of them other, these are all generals, Jesuits coming over here trying to play God. So you're reading about generals taking Native American culture and spreading it out across the world. That's what you're reading when you're reading the Bible. The Bible is goddamn about the snake, the serpent, Native Americans, the tribes, and all of us together and shit like that. So when you hear this, you'll second question it because you believe in the Washishu God. But you know what I'm saying is true in the spirit. You just don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, that just shows you have grace somewhere. But in all actuality, right, when it comes to the Jewish culture itself, that's what Native Americans was over here doing, that was civilized, and teaching them hallelujah and the spiritual sense. We was running the churches, and we was running the Catholic churches. This is what's becoming later on the 5 civilized tribes that Jesuits got a full hand on it and downsize any resistant Native American, right? So there was a time that we had to force ourselves to call ourselves black or white. There was a time we had to force ourselves to be in Catholicism or Christianity, or we wouldn't be a citizen on our own land and things of that nature. And that's our history. You see what I'm saying? So y'all have similar histories, just put in different type of diluted circumstances, right? But all it is just white boys sitting around next to a piece of paper trying to figure out some linguistics of how to be native to somebody's land and control it. So it's always a remix of how can we establish a law that don't have no logic behind it, that if we can make people believe it, this type of establishment can make people rule a land that they wasn't born in some way, shape, or form. So now you got this remix synthetic concept. If you're born on a land, you can rule it, but your people only have to be from that land or know the language of the people originally from that land. So they have to create a whole bunch of synthetic shit. Well, the people who originally from that land ain't from there. Are they from a Burn Straight Bridge? Or they're Asian mixed with what we actually mix with, aka Washishu. They're actually mixed with Arab and Asian and stuff. So they have to say it's a mix of trying to confuse people so we could just get into their linguistics and their laws. And their linguistics and the laws have no logic behind it because they don't have nothing to do with your actual DNA. It has something to do with the synthetic nation, creating a nation. So a nation could be a melting pot and y'all could all call yourselves one thing and be ruled by a small group of people. So that's the natural template of it. So they have to create as much confusion as possible and then play the superhero in areas that look like it's an inclusion. And then if everybody accept the inclusion, you are accepting some racism that you're not aware of, even if you're white. So you could be the white boy or white woman amongst us and things of that nature being treated the same way. So now you're looking for a record deal like Eminem. Now you're looking for a movie deal and stuff like that. But for the most part, there's some other thing going on. And in those areas, they're not all white. They mix Spanglers and stuff like that, and India, eight engines and shit, and a whole bunch of other circumstances that it's like some team effort if they all worship the devil god. And then the devil is just a different term for cosplayer. The devil in a red dress wearing the blood of someone else. So the esoteric blood is the cloth, your mentality, before it condense and become your actual blood and your organs, right? So they actually know what I be talking about is true. Y'all the only ones that they confuse y'all and try to create a whole bunch of 607 unks and stupid shit to get y'all away from your spirit creating a mind that actually affect your organs. So how is that separate? You know what I'm saying? So they only want to be the ones to travel inside their body and still can't stop from being sick and still get retarded and still go to hell. So it's like a synthetic version that they're not doing, and they're copying me, which is why I'm able to break it down so fluidly and don't need no book, no lecture, no slides, no goddamn background, and I'm just natural and genuine and things, because these are my lands. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, when people pluck from the land and make a cinder block off of it and crayon box and Lego blocks from it and shit like that, I made the blocks itself before you even put it in any type of order. You the only one gonna be lost in after you died. Whatever you made your clay mental block golem, man out of dust, and your building with a team in your mind is where you go and go to hell. Get out of here. Get on, bitch. But at some point, though, we have to understand what things is its natural flavor. If you're not of this world and just in it, then you are on the right path, because you're the one creating the substance it takes to have the memory to put things in its position naturally in the first place. So you are the very essence that make the remembrance that condense and become the fleshly fluids of what we call in the dirt and grass to be in that particular year, every spring, summer, fall, and winter. So anytime you're not able to do that within yourself, right, that's a self-rejection to a certain degree. And you could believe in, that's the type of dream you're making. So you ain't got to believe in Yahlahuê because you lost in Hellel and want to justify that something else. You'll get lost in your own personal Yahlahuê. You know what I'm saying? Because ye are gods. So when they say gods, God is the mind, the spaceship, and you're supposed to be together with a mothership that has something to do with nature, natural, something that could be born, and something that's relative to the external nature that you could represent with your own internal natures. So you got your own human nature, and then you got the nature beyond you that play out in a bunch of different forms. You know, your own personal nature is made out of what, 75 or something like that, water, or whatever the case may be. There's a nature outside of you that don't look like you that you need, that we call water. Okay, so for the most part, that's how you're able to see it in the most simple way before y'all get too lost and y'all just in y'all root chakra thinking y'all in some other type chakra in your mind. You get retarded. But at some point, we have to know when you're wearing blood of other individuals and shit like that, you are seen as dirty in the spiritual world from the great spirit. You're walking in someone else's egg cell trying to be the man or something in it, and you only know how to create that less layer. You know what sperm look like, so you only know how to create that undeveloped form and never know how to develop into the egg cell and develop into an actual body, aka a mind condensing into an organ, into a body that's well oiled, running machine and things of that nature. In this area, it has nothing to do with an actual man or a woman. These are things we create ourselves, and you're unfruitful within. So your layering become lacking. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that spiritually. So these are spirit robots cosplaying as other individuals. So, don't let nobody create no spooky terms around you, because they can look at you and see that you only know English. So you don't know no wherewithal, no whereabout on the description behind the manipulation. So this is how you can get sacrificed and get seen as a negative person. For an example, let's say if you're a person who do what Kanye West do, anti-Semitism, right? They can't do that to this page because I'm actually speaking intelligent. But let's say that what you're doing, you might be up under a frame of thought about it, tying it to the government, tying it to something you want to resist, and tying it to something that you need to hate, right? It don't have anything to do with Jews at that point. That's just the government get ready to set you up to harm you, and it's white boys behind that. You see what I'm saying? So you're lost in the English terminology. Thank you so much for the cash app. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, soul group. So it ain't witchcraft, it's manipulation, but this is what they're making synthetic, copying from my people and calling it witchcraft. And they need you to not look at it like witchcraft. They need you to look at it like something else, or whatever the case may be. But it's just white boys, you know what I'm saying? Just taking people cultures and shit like that and creating some racist government law. So all the laws in the government got something to do with them playing God. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. If you look at it in its natural context, like every piece of it, all the way down to, you can't even do nothing, even a church, without you having to pay for a property tax. But the property is just because white boys came over here and claimed that they own somebody's land, so you have to pay them for you to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So property itself is slavery, where we had our own communions, we had our own kinship, we had our own territories, we had our own way of manufacturing things. There's this white boy somewhere sitting around creating situations for all their grandkids, and that nepotism concept could go to college for free, create fake co-opt ass riots and shit like that, fresh out of college, and then 10 years later, just become our future politicians and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got time for that shit. It's just them practicing racism and control outrage. It's like a control outrage. So they, since they know people outrage, now they figure they have to control outrages. So they make Bart Simpson versions of it, make a whole bunch of sororities and fraternities act like they're rioting and looting, but no one who actually upset with things is looting anything. When you work hard for things, you're not even trying to damage your own shit. So if you built shit around you and you want to get paid for it, you're going to either tear it down and it's something real, it ain't government set up, or you're not even into that at all because you're busy with other things and you're getting blocked in other areas. And then when we look at PSYOPP riots and shit, we start to see that's a PSYOP on us, of us not even doing what we doing. And then if we see people scared about how we even talking, this let us know, okay, this is the root then. The root is motherfuckers is weak. This is why motherfuckers created guns in the first place. They lack morality, they lack honor, and they're self-projecting their own damage and inner reflections onto everybody else. So we could take that and go down the line through history and see that every law, every circumstance, and every time we dealing with the white boy, it ain't from no other type of situation. So fuck that spooky shit. Fuck that religion shit. Fuck that Illuminati shit. No, I don't want to hear all that shit. Those are English fucking terms. In reality, white boys being perverts and exercising racism and wanting to kill. And bet not nobody be creating no debates and arguments or saying who we shouldn't speak. No, this needs to be studied. Why is it people in the world is just sitting around the round table thinking they somebody that they could just kill or harm or blow up motherfucker shit like that, and they're not just actually came out somebody's dick? That don't make no motherfucking sense. We're not in Europe. We're not in Australia. Y'all go do that shit in Australia. You do that shit on anybody else's land, you're not going to be called nothing else but racist, a pervert, a motherfucking criminal. The end. You don't have no moral handle, so I don't want to see no goddamn laws with any of these people's names in on it. The end. And if ain't nobody about to be talking like that, you's a fucking punk. Don't let nobody use no spooky ass names, Catholic, Christian, Jesuit, Jesus, and all that. These are words. If a human is taking action towards anything, that's the only thing seen. And we can create some other motherfucker words around it. But motherfucker, if you racist, use a racist. If you're practicing hateism, you're practicing hateism. If you're practicing being able to drop a bag, manipulate people, and be killing people doing that, you're going to hell. There ain't no other fucking way to look at them goddamn shit. And we better not be sitting around voting for motherfuckers who ain't on that. I'm tired of hearing motherfucking news channels and shit coming up like, hey, y'all, we just discovered this. Hey, y'all, what about that? Hey, y'all, what about these fouls? Hey, this is shit y'all already know about. Get the fuck out the way. I ain't playing y'all mental games. It's retarded. You harming people or you ain't. Anything you do at this point, you harming people. From your police force, from your ICE. I don't want to hear no goddamn terms called Jew. If you got a tuxedo on, you're racist. The end. We're going to make this straight clear as culture. We're not even going to allow people to even use racist shit and sexism shit. If you got a bucket hat and you got a tuxedo, everything that come out your fucking mouth is racist. You better be relatable. Or get out of anything that's called government. Because it's childish. No one is getting lost in words and spookism for people to exercise racism and get rich off other people's lands. Later for that. That's all it is. It ain't nothing else. Don't let no white boy with no tuxedo make you think it's anything else. All right? Because that's retarded. Y'all start to think retarded at times. It get real retarded. We either all gonna come together and doing some goddamn relatable shit, or we got to separate cultures. Well, ain't nobody about to be up under nobody who could just use some little childish games like the English language. That's childish. That's why they able to have drones and shit like that. Like our tax dollars ain't go to that. If grown ass men supposed to be in charge of our money and our taxes, and it's going towards sex dolls and drones, that's the only thing need to be discussed. I bet not hear no motherfucking Illuminati term. I bet not hear no, hey guys, we need to all come against it. No, it's white boys. The end. We ain't got to talk about nothing else. That shit is childish. I can't believe y'all be sitting here in some childish shit. This is how P. Diddy is up here able to get charged with sex trafficking. They all need us to add on to it for a false belief. Let's all believe it's actually sex trafficking, what we're saying. I don't give a fuck about P. Diddy and him being nasty. Call it something else. Other than that, the attention is on you playing with little boys and his little priests, these little priest halls and shit like that. So anytime we see somebody exercising any form of military, any form of militia, any form of mafia, if anybody in your family come up missing, any harm, any tornado, any hurricane, anybody on the news channel start using words, sentiment or whatever, you need to put that in your mind. This is racist white people. The end. Don't put it nowhere else. Don't put that shit nowhere else. Or explain to me why you don't got your language. Explain to me why you don't own shit. Explain to me why you lost right now. Explain to me why you ain't got no culture. Explain to me why somebody even throwing fear tactics on you based off some white boy shit that don't even belong on this land. If you can't explain that, shut the fuck up. Nobody want to hear what you talking about. Get the fuck offline. You ain't got nothing to debate about. Until motherfuckers want to get back on their feet, that should be the only thing everybody should be talking about. I don't want to hear y'all lost debates. No, I don't want to hear about y'all Bible debates. None of that's confusion. That's lostness, bitch. We men. We about to make a Bible or we ain't. Obviously, we got better ideologies. Or you want to be lost for the next 2,000 years. So whoever at a round table is you getting ready to come and become intelligent, listen to us now. We got more intelligent ways or whatever the case may be. Other than that, nobody care about hateism and racism and shit like that. And y'all could go kick that shit with y'all selves. Ain't nothing in history that we could go by that teach us about colorism but y'all. Ain't nothing in history that we can go by that teach us about nationalism but y'all. Ain't nothing in history that can teach us about capitalism but y'all. Ain't nothing in history that can teach us about a goddamn bucket hat but y'all. Ain't nothing in history that can teach us about people histories getting took but y'all. You ain't got no voice. You don't got no voice. We got to talk real. All the way to that point, y'all say Jew. No, it's white boys. Y'all be like, oh, Jews own everything and stuff like that. Y'all missed the whole conversation of who land they own and what is we saying that they own. So y'all missed the whole conversation that these people going to hell. You missed that whole conversation of, hey, wait a minute, this don't make sense. Why am I talking like, yeah, the Jews own everything and stuff like that? This don't even make sense. Ain't they from Europe? I say like you like missing that whole conversation with yourself. Like Yahlahuê see that. God looking at that. I don't know what y'all looking at and be like, I need to be a Christian. I need to be a Catholic. You going to hell. Y'all are lost in y'all brains. I don't know. Lord, have mercy on them. They know no better. None of y'all know no better. Not a bucket hat, not an apron, not none of you foreigners, not no politician. None of y'all know no better. It's clear as day. As clear as day. So their main struggle is fighting with disbelief. It ain't about belief. They don't got no God religion. They're fighting with disbelief. No, I don't believe that. No, I don't believe the sun. No, I don't believe. That's what all y'all curriculum Alistair Crowley shit go to hell. I don't give a fuck about that. Y'all are lost. To even be in that position in the first place. Y'all don't know what y'all fucking with. Y'all fucking with spirits. Y'all don't know what y'all fucking with. I see that. I wouldn't dare play around with no shit like that. Thank God my people never did no shit like that, and I ain't going off no literary history like that, where we went somewhere else and did some trickery that we could do though to a next door neighbor and shit like. Thank God, Lord Jesus Christ, I would never want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you fucking with. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. That shit is wild. And y'all, you can tell humans practice this shit like it ain't no tomorrow. Like they practice this shit like they don't believe what they're doing. So whatever that they're doing is in another belief or something like that. But you're doing what I'm talking about. Like it don't make no. It's like not believing in God but trying to play God. You made up that whole thing. You are going to burn forever. Your mind is the burning. Like, how do you not know that? You could tell these white boys don't know that, though. You know what I'm saying? And some of these other ethnicities, you can tell. I'm scared for you. No one want to be somewhere like that for eternity. I am afraid for you. You know what I'm saying? And all that shit y'all personal ones did to me, y'all already excluded. But for the ones who don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all not even allowed to preach about no spiritual shit. That's adding fuel to your own fire. What type of ego you got that you actually preaching and teaching people about esoteric? And like, you know in your heart that only go to your tax dollars. Like, you know in your heart that only go to you trying to play God. You know in your heart that only lead to manifested destiny. You know that. You know that. You don't care. You don't see that as the thing. Like, you're trying to find. You're lost. You're lost. You're trying to find something that is really in your own body. You keep passing up. You're trying to find some cope mechanism. You're trying to find some justification for your lacking. There is no other thing about it. There is no other way to go about it. You are nothing but a cosplayer. And it's fascinating seeing how the human mind works. That shit is fascinating. But I'm afraid for a lot of you humans because you do not know what you do, especially based on the level that you're on. You do not know what you do based upon the level that you're on. You should be thinking, God, you got the ability to think the way you think. Everybody got the ability to think. So I know a bear gonna think because a bear got thoughts. I don't need to compare and contrast that a bear came from human, or a bear came from monkey, or a bear came from God. Y'all don't got God thoughts. You have a human thought. So the Great Spirit know you got the ability to think. You supposed to know the Great Spirit has the ability to think. Nobody told you to use your thoughts for your punk ass shit. I'm saying. So it's like a synthetic cosplayer thing that don't exist in your mind too, that y'all acting out down here. And no one should be on that path. Y'all have led millions to that path. You should be ashamed of yourself. Before you come out your mouth with any law, any circumstance, any being in other people's faces, you should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you so much for the cash app, Sinatra. I appreciate that from my mark. You should really be ashamed of yourself. And if you only got Latin or the English terms and meanings behind it to even justify what you should or not be ashamed of yourself, let the Lord Yahlahuê be with you. That's all I can say. Now, I see, I speak, I do not know you. I'm piece of the Great Spirit. The actual things in nature. I did not get funded. I did everything on my own volition. You were funded. You flooded my channel with PSYOPPs. You not part of the Great Spirit. So what I see, the Great Spirit sees it much greater. What I speak, the Great Spirit speak much louder. I do not know you. I do not know a tuxedo. I do not know a Jew. I don't know none of you claiming you're casting spirits out of nothing. I don't know Jehovah. I don't know that law. I don't know that property. I don't know that culture. I never knew it. It's something took a piece of me. It made me sick. It made me upset. It made me spring the seeds of rejection. I might have never had to take a shit before. Now I got to. I may have never had to pee before. Now I got to. I may not ever had to go to an overanalyzing logical thought before. Now I got to. I got to figure out where I made a mistake. It's always a self thing. I created you. You should be ashamed of yourself. Because I'm ashamed of myself. Allowing this. I'm very ashamed of myself. I have a bunch of false me's. A bunch of false mimicans. A bunch of war. A bunch of slaughter. A bunch of manipulation. a bunch of ungenuineness, a bunch of false genetic, a bunch of fakeness, charlatan, fraud. You are from the pits of hell, and you know it. Because it's straight from my balls. And that's my root chakra areas I made and shit like that. And I don't think like you. So when I'm up here, that let me know. I do not know you. I do not know you. You know money. You disown people based upon you not knowing them if they're not going off your money. They're not going off your scheme. They're not going off your program. That do not belong. That is not real. You made up something in your mind, and you actually affected others by it. You made others feel down. You made others feel guilty like they wasn't doing something the right way. You made others get lost in bribery. You made others fall short to things. This all falls on you. There is no such thing as sacrifice. All that is your blood. It all falls on you, no one else. All the collection plates, all the softwares, all the dragging people into your wars, all the mental lostness, this comes from your seed. You're the lost one. You're the ill one. You're the retarded one. You're the only one going to hell. So you better make some books about not believing in hell. You better start thinking, well, maybe it's power in the mind, and make some books about soul sleep, because that's the best you can do. And that's where you're going to sleep forever. You won't ever be able to wake up again. You can't find waking up. You can't find being born. You can't find death. You didn't burnt yourself out with it. Express too much death. Couldn't kill something inside of you like an ego. Express too much slaughter. Couldn't slaughter something inside of you. Express too much prejudice. Couldn't be prejudiced towards something inside of you. That's your blood. No one else's. Don't ever put that on no one else's. Every word that come out of your funky ass mouth, preaching, teaching about anything, is only adding fuel to the fire. You can't even think at this point. The Great Spirit is watching. You can't even think. That's our first movements, our first move, our first voices, our first actions, our first sight. The Great Spirit is back. You can't even think. And if you think and let that come out your mouth and let that come at your actions, automatic rejection. Automatic. Automatic. You can't use anything you built in a synthetic world in your own mind. George Washington is not there. George Washington is not there. There's no building there. There's no stairs there. There's no canopy there. There's no horizon there. There's no sun there. There is no rainbow. There is no ice. It's just your mind. That's it. That's it. You're lost forever. You're not going anywhere. You didn't come nowhere. Understand that. You have trapped yourself. You have capped yourself. That's the only thing you capitalized. You have capped yourself in hell forever. Don't preach nobody nothing else. Don't tell nobody nothing else. Nobody want to know your history. Nobody want to know your past. Nobody even mad at you. Don't even say anything about Jew Illuminati sentimentism. No, you're not important that way. I do not even know you. At this point, you're plucking even more from something that's not yours. Play with yourself, not strangers. Play with your own kind on your own motherlands. Evil do not exist in God's mind, only the reprobate. Evil do not exist. We didn't even have a term for war. Evil do not exist in the mind of God. Go home. Your physical homelands is hell. That's why you left. Spiritually, you were in hell. That's why you're trying to leave. You can't escape what you are. Do not use no English terms. Do not use no Latin terms. Do not use no meanings and reasonings to drag anyone else into your authoring books and movies called Drag to Hell. This is your thought. You're becoming a dinosaur. The end. Whatever you do in the physical, you shall remain in your own metaphysics. Do not teach about metaphysics anymore. Do not teach about space and stars anymore. Do not teach about morality, philosophy anymore. That's your hell. You lay in your bed by yourself. There's no getting out of it. There's no getting out of it. You can never get out of it. You ain't getting out of it. You can't. You're lost in the physical. You don't know what else to do. You're going to meet your maker. You need to understand that. Save yourself. Save yourself. Now, for all you artists, rappers, actors, actresses, contract supporters, platform supporters, broadcaster supporters, you do not know what you do. But I'm warning you, when you go to sleep at night, by yourself, you ain't got to think about what I'm saying. You ain't even know who I was, but you always had a dream. Be careful what you making as a motherfucker dream, because it pleased you in the physical. Especially if you had no business affecting other people, strangers. Understand that. Learn how to keep your motherfucking hands to yourself. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. But spirits will get a rude awakening every step they take in the opposite direction from the great spirit. And all you could do at this moment is can become an extreme atheist, because you don't know no better. But you in your mind. So do your philosophy on that. Do your philosophy on how the mind affects the organ. Do your philosophy on that. And that's all you need to know. So when we talk about any real anything, spiritual anything, the hell with any term, it's Native Americans on this land. In the African continent, it's Negro tribes in Africa. In the Asian continent, it's Japanese in China, or whatever the case may be, and Asians, or whatever the case. Whatever seed practicing war and negativity, let them do that by themselves. Whoever practicing manipulation and using these terms, let them talk to themselves, as them and their forefathers have already been. You don't participate. That it has nothing to do with you. Physically, I don't see your culture coming up off their feet being crippled. Mentally, I don't see any of your ancestors in on any of these religions or anything of that nature or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And even in between, I see you getting the short end of the stick of everything. Okay, obviously something ain't for you. So you don't need to trick yourself. You don't need to get lost. But when it comes to the spiritual shit, for you to even have a mind and a body in the first place, that's what's important. And it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. So you're in the physical. You ain't nowhere else. You ain't about to die and go nowhere else or nothing except your own funky ass mind. And you either know how to produce another mind and an organ, take the beauty path. Or your ass is trapped in your own mind without a fucking body because you built up too much of a stupid ass mind when you had a body. And you couldn't see the great spirit when it was right in motherfucking front of you. You see what I'm saying? The end. Don't let no funky ass adults use any funky ass words in any language when it start having meanings behind it that look like it ain't got nothing to do with uplifting you and your motherfucking culture and your people. You better motherfucking believe it. Let motherfuckers go to hell by their goddamn self. And I'm gonna do an open panel tonight. Love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight Plus, bitch, you know. For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Move. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And actions speak louder than words. And y'all always look at the moral and the honor behind something. And that'll tell you everything. Fuck what a person is saying out their motherfucking mouth. The language might be bastardized.